Alex Harper had never expected his life to change this fast. Just a week ago, he was an ordinary officer stationed on Earth's orbiting training hub, handling standard human assignments. His record was solid, but nothing extraordinary. He was careful, intelligent, and disciplined, the kind of officer who followed orders well. Yet today, he was about to meet someone who would test every skill, every instinct he had. The space elevator docked at the Celestia Prime Station, a sprawling orbital hub that shimmered against the blackness of space. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered and glided between docking bays. It was a place of diplomacy, strategy, and occasionally danger. Humans had only recently joined the coalition of advanced civilizations. It was a huge step for humanity, and Alex was about to be part of it in a way he could never have imagined. "Harper, you are requested immediately in Command Sector 3, the station AI's voice echoed in his helmet. Its tone was polite but firm. There was no room for argument. Alex adjusted his uniform, taking a deep breath. Here goes nothing, he thought. He entered the elevator, and as it glided upward through the transparent tube, he watched Earth's blue curve shrink beneath him. The familiar sight usually brought comfort, but today it only made him nervous. He had read about alien commanders, about their high standards, and about the stories of humans struggling to adapt. The elevator doors opened with a soft hiss, revealing a long hallway lined with glowing panels. The light reflected off polished surfaces and gleamed on intricate symbols etched into the walls. At the end of the hallway stood a figure that made Alex stop in his tracks. Lyra. She was unlike any alien he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly in the station's light, a subtle iridescent glow. Her eyes were sharp, intelligent, and seemed to take in everything at once. She stood tall and confident, exuding authority. Around her shoulders was a ceremonial uniform adorned with medals and insignias, each one telling stories of battles, diplomacy, and victories across countless star systems. She looked at Alex, her lips curling into a small, confident smile. "Assigned to me, human?" she asked, her voice smooth and confident. "Then prepare to satisfy my desires." Alex blinked. For a moment, he thought she meant it literally, but her tone quickly made him realize she meant something entirely different. Lyra's desires were not personal. They were demands, challenges, and high expectations. She was the kind of commander who pushed everyone to their limits and beyond. And now he was part of her team. "Yes, ma'am," Alex replied, straightening his back. "I'll do my best," she nodded once sharply. "Good. Your best will have to be better than that. Follow me." They walked through the hallway in silence. Alex studied Lyra, trying to understand her. She was strict, precise, and confident. Every step, every gesture seemed purposeful. He could see why she commanded respect and sometimes fear throughout the coalition. Finally, they reached a large room filled with holographic displays and floating models of ships, planets, and star systems. Other alien officers moved around, studying data, giving reports, and adjusting simulations. Lyra gestured for Alex to step closer to a central console. "We have a situation," she began. "A rogue faction has stolen a prototype energy weapon. If activated, it could destabilize an entire planet's core. We cannot allow that to happen. You will assist me in recovering it." Alex's heart skipped a beat. A stolen weapon capable of destroying a planet? He had read about such technology, seen simulations, but now he was being sent to face it firsthand. He felt a mixture of fear and excitement. This was far beyond routine human assignments. "Understood," he said. "What's the plan?" Lyra's smile widened slightly. "Plans are never simple. The faction is unpredictable. They have hidden bases on uncharted planets, and their technology is different from anything we've seen. You'll need to adapt, think fast, act fast, and trust your instincts. Sometimes human intuition is more valuable than advanced alien algorithms." Alex blinked. Human intuition? That was unexpected. He had trained to follow orders, to rely on technology, to calculate every possibility. Yet Lyra's words suggested that his uniqueness, his human way of thinking, was an asset. They spent the next hour going through briefings. Lyra explained the weapon's capabilities, the faction's known locations, and their suspected movements. The holographic projection of the weapon floated above the console, sleek, compact, yet capable of immense energy output. Alex noted the unusual design. It was different from human technology, with circuits that seemed almost alive. "Your first task," Lyra said, tapping on the projection, "is to infiltrate their command ship. Retrieve the weapon. We need it intact. Lives across the system depend on it. You will be paired with a small team, but your ideas may be the key to success. Do you understand? I understand, Alex replied. Lyra tilted her head, studying him. Good. You will need to keep up. Our missions are not easy. You may find yourself in danger. Many humans falter under pressure. You will not. Failure is not an option. Alex nodded, swallowing hard. He felt the weight of her words. This was more than a mission. It was a test of his ability to rise above limits that even experienced alien officers struggled with. The team assembled quickly. 2 elite alien operatives, skilled in combat and espionage, and a tactical drone specialized in recon and security bypass. They briefed Alex on their roles and the plan. The ship they were to infiltrate was orbiting a small, uninhabited planet. Alex had never seen a vessel like it. Its angular design was strange yet intimidating, with shields that shimmered in the light of a nearby star. Lyra led the team in silence, her presence commanding focus. Alex's hands shook slightly as he prepared his equipment. He reminded himself that fear was natural. It was how he handled it that mattered. Lyra's eyes caught his movement, and she raised an eyebrow. Focus, she said simply. That trembling is not a sign of weakness. It is an opportunity to prove yourself. The team moved to the transport pod. As they descended toward the rogue ship, Alex noticed the tiny details, the way the enemy had disguised the docking bay, the faint energy pulses indicating security systems, and the unusual patterns of patrol drones. Human curiosity combined with careful observation gave him insights the aliens might overlook. Once aboard, the tension was immediate. Security drones scanned the corridors and the atmosphere was cold and sterile. The alien operatives moved with practiced precision, but Alex relied on his human instincts, noticing subtle patterns, predicting movements, and suggesting paths that avoided detection. Lyra glanced at him, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. You may be learning faster than I expected, she said quietly. Alex felt a surge of confidence. He realized that this mission was not just about following orders. It was about thinking differently, adapting quickly, and using his humanity as a strength. They reached the chamber where the weapon was held. It was suspended in a containment field, pulsing softly. The alien operatives began their standard procedure to deactivate the security systems. Alex watched carefully, then suggested a different sequence, one based on timing and pattern recognition rather than brute force. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Explain. He quickly outlined his reasoning. The operatives exchanged uncertain glances but followed his instructions. To their surprise, the sequence worked perfectly. The containment field dissolved and the weapon was safe. Lyra allowed herself a small smile. Well done, human. You may have just saved us precious time. Alex felt a mix of relief and pride. This was the moment he understood Lyra's earlier words. Satisfying her desires was about more than obedience. It was about meeting challenges, solving problems, and rising to expectations that seemed impossible. As they secured the weapon and prepared to leave, Alex realized something important. He was no longer just a human officer. He was part of a team where his unique perspective mattered, and as daunting as the mission had been, he felt a spark of excitement. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, but also full of opportunities for humans to make a difference. The transport pod carried them back to Celestia Prime Station. Lyra remained silent for most of the journey, but her eyes occasionally met his with a hint of respect. Alex knew that this was just the beginning. The first part of his journey had taught him a crucial lesson. In a galaxy full of advanced civilizations, humanity's greatest asset was not its technology. It was its adaptability, creativity, and courage. And under Lyra's command, he would have every chance to prove it. As the station came into view, Alex took a deep breath. He was ready for whatever came next. Alex Harper had barely caught his breath since the mission to recover the prototype weapon. Even as the transport pod glided silently back to Celestia Prime Station, his mind raced with what he had seen and done. The rogue faction had been more clever than anyone predicted, but somehow humans, or at least him, had made the difference. Lyra, the elite alien commander, sat across from him, her posture calm and precise, her eyes scanning data on a floating holographic panel. The small smile she had given him earlier lingered in his memory, but now she seemed almost unreadable. Alex knew better than to misinterpret alien expressions. In the coalition, every look, every gesture had meaning. Humans think differently, Lyra said finally, her voice low but firm. You relied on instincts, timing, and observation. You saw patterns we would not notice. This is why you are useful. But usefulness alone is not enough. You must learn to anticipate, to innovate, to survive under pressure. Alex nodded. I understand, ma'am. I'll do whatever it takes. Lyra's smile returned briefly. Good. The next phase will test that. The station's command center was buzzing with activity. Alien officers moved swiftly, issuing orders, analyzing reports, and coordinating with ships across the galaxy. Alex felt both excitement and anxiety. This was no ordinary mission. He had been given the responsibility of assisting Lyra directly, a rare honor, and a dangerous one. Their next assignment came quickly. Sensors had detected suspicious activity near the outer rim of the Coalition's territory. A small fleet of rogue ships, possibly tied to the faction they had just confronted, had been spotted in a sector known for its asteroid fields. Intelligence suggested they were transporting stolen technology. If allowed to escape, they could threaten multiple star systems. Lyra briefed the team. We intercept. We retrieve or neutralize. We do not engage in unnecessary conflict. Stealth, precision, and timing are essential. Alex, you will assist with planning the approach. Your human perspective may reveal options others overlook. Alex swallowed hard. This was his first real taste of responsibility at this scale. He quickly reviewed the star maps and fleet positions, using the station's holographic interface. The rogue ships were moving fast, weaving between asteroid belts, using the terrain to hide from scanners. Lyra observed quietly as Alex traced the fleet's path, his finger hovering over the map. Your approach? She asked. Alex hesitated for a moment. Then, recalling his training and intuition, he outlined a plan. We can use the asteroid field to mask our approach. Rather than following them directly, we can set a trap along the path they are likely to take. A small decoy fleet could draw them in, while our main team intercepts. The alien officers exchanged skeptical looks. Using deception in space was tricky, and humans were often considered unpredictable. But that unpredictability could be an advantage. Lyra's gaze sharpened. Explain the risks. Alex detailed the plan. Timing was crucial. Sensors would have to be disabled temporarily to avoid detection, and communications needed to be synchronized. The rogue ships were dangerous but not invincible. By combining stealth, prediction, and human ingenuity, they could succeed without a full-scale battle. Lyra considered him silently, then nodded. Proceed. We will follow your suggestion, but failure is not an option. The team prepared for departure. Alex's pulse quickened as the transport ship detached from Celestia Prime Station and entered hyperspace. He studied the instruments, learning alien navigation protocols quickly, but relying on his instincts to anticipate anomalies. The journey to the asteroid field was tense. Every moment, Alex reviewed the fleet's projected path, checking for possible threats. Lyra remained silent beside him, but Alex sensed her attention. He felt the weight of her expectations and the responsibility he carried, not just for the mission, but for the safety of the Coalition. When they arrived at the edge of the asteroid field, Alex's plan went into action. The decoy ships activated, drawing the rogue fleet toward the trap. Alex's heart pounded as he monitored their movements, predicting every evasive maneuver. The rogue ships were clever, but the humans' unpredictability had prepared him for it. At the critical moment, Alex directed the main team to move into position. The rogue ships had no idea they were being ambushed. Alex suggested using electromagnetic pulses to disable their engines temporarily, allowing the team to board and secure the stolen technology. The operation unfolded perfectly. Almost. One rogue ship detected their presence earlier than expected, and a defensive drone fired toward them. Alex acted immediately, instructing the team to take a slightly different path through the asteroid field. Using his knowledge of trajectory and timing, they dodged the fire and repositioned for the boarding maneuver. Lyra watched silently, impressed. Humans often lacked the advanced reflexes of alien operatives, but Alex's quick thinking and adaptability had made the difference. She realized that human creativity was not a weakness, it was a hidden strength. Once aboard the rogue ship, The team encountered the faction's engineers trying to secure the stolen technology. The humans and aliens worked together seamlessly, disabling defenses and retrieving the equipment. Alex suggested a few unconventional solutions, rerouting power through emergency conduits, using magnetic fields to trap security drones, and predicting where the engineers might hide. Each solution relied on human intuition and rapid adaptation, rather than strict protocol. By the time the team returned to their transport, the mission was a success. The stolen technology was secured, the rogue ships were neutralized, and casualties were minimal. Lyra turned to Alex, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then, for the first time during this operation, she smiled, a genuine, approving smile. "You have exceeded expectations, human," she said. "Your ability to adapt, to think differently, and to take initiative, it has saved us time, resources, and possibly lives." Alex felt a surge of pride. For the first time, he truly understood what Lyra meant when she spoke of desires. It was not about orders or obedience. It was about accomplishing what seemed impossible, using every tool and skill available. His human perspective had made the difference. The return to Celestia Prime Station was filled with debriefings and assessments. Alex presented his observations, explaining how his human intuition had guided their decisions and suggesting improvements for future missions. Alien officers listened carefully, some skeptical, others intrigued. Lyra stood beside him, nodding subtly. "Your human mind may be unconventional," she said quietly, "but it is valuable. You remind us that not all solutions come from advanced algorithms or centuries of training. Sometimes instinct and creativity are the most powerful tools." Alex smiled, a mixture of relief and pride filling him. He had begun to prove himself not just as a human officer, but as a vital member of a coalition that had never fully understood humanity's potential. As the day ended, Alex walked through the station's corridors, reflecting on the events. He realized that being human in a galaxy of advanced civilizations was both a challenge and an opportunity. While aliens had superior technology, speed, and strength, humans had adaptability, intuition, and creativity, qualities that could turn the tide in situations where brute force alone failed. He paused outside a viewport, gazing at the swirling nebulae and distant stars. Lyra had challenged him, pushed him, and expected him to perform under pressure. And he had done so. The galaxy was vast and full of danger, but Alex felt ready. He knew the rogue faction would not be the last challenge, and the coalition's enemies were clever and relentless. Yet with human ingenuity, courage, and determination, he believed he could meet them head-on. As he turned to leave, Lyra's voice called softly from behind him. "Tomorrow we begin the next mission. Prepare yourself. It will test your mind, your skills, and your patience. But I expect you to succeed. Failure is not an option." Alex nodded, a spark of determination lighting his eyes. He understood the weight of her expectations, but now he also understood that he was capable. He was a human, a species underestimated by many but full of hidden strength. And under Lyra's command, he would continue to prove that humans could achieve the impossible. The stars outside the station stretched endlessly, a reminder of the vastness of space and the challenges yet to come. Alex felt ready to face them all. This was only the beginning. The success of their last mission had brought Alex a measure of recognition among the coalition officers, but he knew there was no time to rest. The galaxy was vast, and dangers often emerged where they were least expected. Intelligence reports had detected a powerful new threat, a mysterious alien fleet far larger than anything the coalition had faced. Their technology was unfamiliar, and their intentions were unknown, but it was clear that they could endanger multiple star systems if left unchecked. Lyra called an emergency briefing in the station's command center. Holographic displays illuminated the room, showing star systems, fleet positions, and energy signatures unlike anything Alex had seen before. The alien officers moved swiftly, discussing strategies, analyzing data, and proposing defensive measures. Alex stood near the center, his eyes scanning the projections. He felt the weight of responsibility. Unlike previous missions, this one would not only test his skills, but also the very limits of human ingenuity. Lyra approached him, her gaze sharp and commanding. "This is unlike anything we have faced before," she said. "The enemy fleet is massive, but not invincible. Their technology is advanced, yes, but predictable in some ways. Human intuition may give us the edge. Your ideas will be crucial, Alex. Alex nodded. He understood what she meant. The last mission had shown him that humans could solve problems in ways the aliens could not always anticipate. He had to think differently, to anticipate movements, to find opportunities that others might overlook. The first step was reconnaissance. Lyra assigned Alex to a small team, including 2 elite alien operatives and a tactical drone, to investigate a planet suspected of being a staging ground for the enemy fleet. The planet was harsh, with jagged terrain, violent storms, and unstable atmospheric conditions. No alien reconnaissance drone had succeeded in entering the region undetected. As the transport ship approached the planet, Alex studied the environment. His human instincts immediately noted patterns in the storms, the movements of the planet's magnetic fields, and the hidden energy pulses that could indicate enemy structures. He shared his observations with Lyra and the team. "Your perspective is valuable," Lyra said. "Most would see only danger, but you see opportunities. Proceed carefully, but trust your instincts." The team descended to the planet's surface, navigating treacherous terrain. Winds howled, rocks shifted, and the alien operatives relied on advanced stabilization systems to maintain footing. Alex, though less equipped, used his adaptability and awareness of natural patterns to predict hazards and guide the team. As they neared the suspected enemy base, a sudden energy pulse swept across the terrain. Sensors went haywire, and the alien operatives struggled to stabilize. Alex acted quickly, directing the team to use natural cover and energy shadows to avoid detection. His ability to think and react under pressure impressed Lyra once again. They reached the base undetected, revealing a massive structure partially concealed by natural formations. The technology inside was unlike anything the Coalition had encountered. Machines hummed with unknown energy sources, and data conduits transmitted signals at frequencies that challenged human understanding. Alex examined the layout, suggesting ways to move through the base without triggering alarms. The alien operatives were skeptical, used to standard infiltration methods, but they followed his guidance. He noticed hidden patterns in the energy pulses, timing sequences that could be exploited to bypass security. Using simple observations and logic, he devised a route that allowed them to access the command center without confrontation. Inside the command center, they discovered the extent of the threat. Holographic projections showed multiple enemy fleets, each equipped with advanced weaponry capable of devastating entire planets. Their plans were ambitious: expansion, control, and domination of strategic star systems. It was clear that if the Coalition failed to act, countless lives would be at risk. Alex quickly analyzed the data, suggesting strategies that combined human intuition with alien technology. He proposed ways to exploit predictable patterns in enemy movements, set traps in hyperspace lanes, and use environmental hazards to slow their advance. His ideas were unconventional, but they made sense. Lyra watched him closely. "Your ideas are different," she said, "but different does not mean ineffective. We will implement your strategy." Humans often see solutions others miss. As they prepared to leave, alarms blared. Enemy patrols had detected unusual activity in the base. The team had to act quickly. Alex coordinated the retreat, using his observations of terrain and enemy patterns to guide the team safely. They encountered resistance, but his quick thinking allowed them to evade capture and return to the transport ship. During the return, Alex reflected on the situation. The enemy fleet was formidable, but he realized that human creativity, combined with teamwork and courage, could make the impossible possible. Lyra's respect for him had grown, and he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Back on Celestia Prime Station, the Coalition convened an emergency council. Lyra presented the reconnaissance findings, and Alex was asked to contribute his analysis. He outlined strategies that leveraged human unpredictability, using decoys, exploiting weaknesses in enemy patterns, and coordinating rapid response teams in ways alien officers had not considered. The council was initially skeptical, but as Alex explained his reasoning, it became clear that his insights were valuable. His ability to combine logic, intuition, and adaptability offered solutions that even advanced alien minds had overlooked. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, a rare gesture of approval. "You are more than just a human observer, Alex. You are a key strategist. Do not forget that." The next phase of the mission was clear: The coalition would confront the enemy fleet, using a combination of human ingenuity and advanced alien technology. Alex was to lead a specialized team, implementing strategies he had devised. The weight of responsibility was immense, but he felt ready. In the following days, Alex worked tirelessly with Lyra and the coalition forces. Simulations, tactical planning, and training exercises consumed their time. Alex continued to demonstrate the unique advantages humans brought to the table: lateral thinking, adaptability, and intuition. He proposed ideas that seemed risky, but were grounded in careful observation and logic. Finally, the day of the confrontation arrived. The coalition fleet moved into position, guided by Alex's strategies. The enemy fleet appeared on sensors, massive and intimidating, but their movements were predictable enough for the coalition to exploit. As the battle began, Alex coordinated the fleet's maneuvers. His human perspective allowed him to anticipate enemy tactics, redirecting ships to exploit weaknesses, and using the environment to their advantage. The alien officers initially struggled to trust his unconventional commands, but the results were undeniable. The battle was intense. Energy beams sliced through space, shields flared, and explosions illuminated the void. The coalition fleet pressed forward, guided by a combination of advanced technology and human ingenuity. Alex suggested maneuvers that were bold and unexpected, allowing the coalition to outflank the enemy. At one critical moment, Lyra's flagship came under heavy attack. Enemy weapons targeted it directly, and the shields were failing. Alex acted quickly, redirecting nearby ships to form a protective barrier and suggesting a counterattack that exploited the enemy's weak formation. Lyra's crew executed his strategy flawlessly. The enemy flagship was disabled, and the remaining fleet, seeing their command ship fall, retreated. The coalition had won, thanks in large part to human creativity and courage. After the battle, Lyra addressed the team. Today we witness the value of humanity in ways many doubted. Alex Harper, your ingenuity, adaptability, and courage have proven that humans are capable of shaping outcomes even in the most dire situations. Alex felt a sense of pride and humility. He had faced a greater threat than ever before, and human ingenuity had made a real difference. He realized that being human in a galaxy of advanced civilizations was both a challenge and an opportunity. As the coalition celebrated the victory, Alex and Lyra stood together on the observation deck, looking at the stars beyond. "You performed well," Lyra said quietly. "I underestimated the impact of a human mind. Do not let anyone convince you that humans are inferior. Today you proved otherwise." Alex nodded, understanding the significance of her words. He had come a long way from the nervous officer assigned unexpectedly to her team. Now he was a strategist, a problem solver, and a vital member of the coalition. The galaxy was vast and threats were always emerging, but Alex felt ready to face whatever came next. With human ingenuity, courage, and determination, he knew he could meet challenges no matter how great. The stars outside the station stretched endlessly, a reminder of both the dangers and the opportunities that awaited. Alex had proven that humans could not only survive in a galaxy of advanced civilizations, they could excel, and this was only the beginning. The victory over the enemy fleet had been decisive, but Alex Harper knew it was only the beginning. The rogue fleet had been just a fragment of a larger, more organized threat. Intelligence reports suggested that more forces were gathering beyond the outer rim, planning to expand and dominate strategically valuable star systems. The coalition needed a long-term solution, and Alex's human perspective was now considered essential. Lyra summoned him to the council chamber on Celestia Prime Station. Alien leaders from multiple civilizations filled the room, their expressions a mix of curiosity, skepticism, and expectation. Alex felt a familiar pulse of nervousness but reminded himself that humans had something unique to offer. "Alex Harper," Lyra began, her voice commanding attention, "the galaxy faces a threat unlike any we have seen. Your insights have proven invaluable. Today we ask for your strategies to guide the coalition fleet in the upcoming campaign." Alex stepped forward. He took a deep breath and focused on what mattered most: logic, observation, and intuition. "The enemy is advanced but predictable in some patterns," he began. "If we coordinate across multiple fleets, exploit environmental hazards, and use misdirection, We can force them into positions where their technology becomes less effective. We must combine alien strength with human adaptability. He outlined a plan that relied on unconventional thinking, using asteroid fields to conceal movements, sending decoy fleets to confuse enemy sensors, and leveraging rapid response teams in unexpected ways. Each suggestion drew on principles humans excel at: flexibility, unpredictability, and creativity. The council was quiet for a moment. Alien officers exchanged glances, some skeptical, others intrigued. Lyra nodded at Alex. Humans see possibilities others overlook. Your plan requires trust in unpredictability, but it works. Implement it. Preparations began immediately. Fleets were repositioned, decoy formations established, and teams trained for maneuvers that required split-second decisions. Alex worked tirelessly, coordinating with alien commanders, fine-tuning plans, and anticipating possible counterattacks. His human perspective challenged established methods, but the results proved his point. When the enemy fleet appeared on sensors, massive and threatening, Alex felt the familiar pulse of adrenaline. He had been in dangerous situations before, but the scale now was staggering. Thousands of ships moved in coordinated formations, weapons glowing, shields pulsing with energy. The galaxy's safety depended on the coalition's ability to respond effectively. The battle began with cautious skirmishes. Decoy fleets moved first, drawing the enemy's attention. The main coalition fleet, guided by Alex's strategies, took hidden positions within asteroid fields. Alex predicted the enemy's movements, anticipating evasive maneuvers and counterattacks. When the first wave of enemy ships approached, Alex suggested a bold tactic, using electromagnetic pulses to temporarily disable critical systems in enemy ships, combined with environmental obstacles that humans instinctively read, such as asteroid collisions or gravitational shifts. Lyra's officers initially hesitated, but they followed his commands. The results were immediate and astonishing. Enemy ships faltered, their formation broken, and coalition forces advanced decisively. Alex's human intuition had exploited weaknesses no algorithm or centuries of training could predict. Lyra watched silently, impressed by his ability to see opportunities in chaos. During a critical moment, the enemy targeted Lyra's flagship, a massive vessel commanding the coalition fleet. Energy blasts struck the shields, threatening to breach them. Alex acted instantly, redirecting nearby ships to form a protective perimeter and suggesting a counterattack that exploited the enemy's weak flanks. The move worked perfectly, saving the flagship and forcing the enemy into retreat. As the battle continued, Alex coordinated maneuvers across multiple fleets, his ability to adapt to rapidly changing situations proving invaluable. Alien commanders began to rely on his instincts, recognizing that humans could act quickly where rigid protocols would falter. His ideas were unconventional, but the results were undeniable. By the time the battle ended, the enemy fleet had been defeated. Many ships had been captured or neutralized, and the coalition's losses were minimal compared to the threat. Alex's contributions had been decisive. Lyra addressed the council, her voice echoing in the chamber. "Today we witnessed the strength of humanity," she said. "Alex Harper has demonstrated that humans, though new to the coalition, bring something essential: creativity, adaptability, and courage. Your ingenuity has saved countless lives and ensured the safety of multiple star systems." Alex felt a wave of pride. He had started as a nervous officer, unsure of his place among advanced civilizations. Now he had proven that humans could not only survive but excel. He realized that his strength lay not in technology or raw power, but in the ability to think differently, to adapt, and to rise to challenges others might consider impossible. Later, on the observation deck of Celestia Prime Station, Alex stood with Lyra, watching the stars stretch endlessly across space. The aftermath of the battle was visible in the distance. Enemy ships retreating, coalition fleets regrouping, and distant planets safe once more. "You performed exceptionally," Lyra said softly, her usual stern demeanor softened by genuine respect. "I underestimated the value of a human mind in situations like these. You have proven that humanity is capable of contributing in ways even the most advanced civilizations may overlook." Alex nodded. "Thank you, ma'am. I just did what I thought would work." "Sometimes," Lyra said, "doing what you think will work requires courage, creativity, and decisiveness. That is what sets humans apart. Never forget it." As they spoke, Alex reflected on the journey that had brought him here. He remembered the nervous officer stepping into Lyra's command sector, unsure of his abilities. He remembered the first mission, the infiltration, and the lessons he had learned. Every challenge, every risk had prepared him for this moment. The coalition recognized humanity's potential in a new light. Humans were no longer seen as inexperienced newcomers. They were innovators, problem solvers, and a vital part of the galaxy's defense. Alex's success had opened doors for other humans, showing that courage and ingenuity could bridge gaps between species and technologies. In the days that followed, Alex continued to work with Lyra, helping plan defenses, training new officers, and refining strategies. His ideas were sought after and his confidence grew. He understood now that being human in a galaxy of advanced civilizations was not a limitation. It was an advantage. Lyra occasionally tested him, assigning tasks that challenged his intuition, judgment, and leadership. Each time Alex rose to the occasion, proving that human adaptability was unmatched. The respect between them grew, built on mutual trust and recognition of each other's strengths. The galaxy remained full of dangers and mysteries, but Alex felt ready. He had discovered that humans could achieve what others might deem impossible, and that determination, creativity, and courage were tools as powerful as any weapon. As the sun rose over Celestia Prime Station, casting shimmering light across the observation deck, Alex knew that the story was far from over. New threats would arise and the galaxy's future would remain uncertain, yet he felt confident, for he had proven that humanity was not only capable of facing these challenges, but of shaping outcomes in ways no one else could. And in that realization, Alex understood the full meaning of Lyra's words from the very first day. To satisfy her desires was not personal. It was to rise to challenges, to innovate, and to make a difference where it mattered most. Humans had proven themselves, and Alex Harper would continue to lead the way.